Mr. President of the General Assembly, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to join you to honor the achievements of human rights defenders across the globe. 3/4 of a century ago, in a world decimated by war, the United Nations General Assembly proclaimed that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights is a clarion call to act in accordance with the fundamental truth that each of us is an equal member of a single human family. 75 years on, the world must recall that wisdom, and it must act on it, because human rights are under attack around the world. Conflicts are raging, with appalling consequences for civilians, as we are dramatically witnessing every single day with the immense deaths and suffering in Gaza after the horrors of the 7th October attacks. Inequalities are deepening. Anger and poverty are rising. Women's rights are stalling and in some cases going into reverse. Civic space and media freedom is being rolled back, and new threats are blossoming, from catastrophic climate disasters to artificial intelligence, which holds the potential for immense possibility, but also for immense peril. And age-old hatreds are resurging with a vengeance, from racism to xenophobia and religious intolerance. People are being violently targeted solely for their religion, their ethnicity, or who they love. But across the world, human rights defenders are lights in the darkness. They are changing lives, fighting, educating, and holding power to account to make human rights a living, breathing reality. This is deeply dangerous work. Last year, almost 450 human rights defenders, journalists, and trade unionists were killed, 40% more than the previous year. 33 vanished without a trace, a staggering 300% increase from 2021. So, Excellencies, in this context, today's Human Rights Prize is all the more important. This prize has recognized the achievements of human rights defenders since 1968. It has honored luminaries such as Nelson Mandela, Malala Yousafzai, and the International Committee of the Red Cross. And I pay tribute to each of the recipients of the prize today for their extraordinary work, their humanity, and their courage. Julian Lusange from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Júlio Pereira from Uruguay, the Amman Center for Human Rights Studies, the Human Rights Center Vyazna working in Belarus, and the Global Coalition of Civil Society Organizations, indigenous peoples, social movements, and local communities for the universal recognition of the right to a clean, healthy, and sustainable environment. Congratulations to you all, and thank you for everything you are doing. And I would also like to pay tribute tonight to the thousands of unsung human rights defenders around the world. We see you, we honor you, and we thank you. Excellencies, leaders of all kinds must have inspiration from you, our prize recipients today, and defend all human rights, political, civil, social, economic, and cultural. The world needs leaders of countries, corporations, political parties, religious and civil organizations, and beyond, to speak out against anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim bigotry, attacks on minority Christian communities, and all forms of hate and abuse. It needs them to protect human rights defenders and bring those who threaten them to justice. It needs them to embrace our common norms and values, to act on them, and be guided by the spirit of humanity and dignity embodied by the Universal Declaration to prevent conflict, protect the planet, and heal divides. I urge all member states to use the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration to strengthen their commitment to making human rights a reality, and to place human rights at the front and center of efforts to update our international institutions at the Summit of the Future next September. Excellencies, once again I congratulate all those awarded the prize today. fight by fight, case by case, you are making the vision of universal human rights a reality. But you cannot do it alone. As we celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, we need leaders of all kinds to embrace their role as human rights defenders too. Thank you.
I thank the Secretary